I have to read. Oh, there we go. We're live.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, it's Thursday, July 17th. This is a commissioner's workshop meeting talking about the transfer station and satellite locations. Due to Indiana code, we cannot talk about anything else tonight. So with that, I want to just kick off and give a brief description what's happening and how it's working. So the satellite locations, we have a sticker program. Each sticker costs $1.50 for each bag of trash. Then at that point, it's collected. All the money that is collected from that is around 60, is that correct? $1,000 a year?
From Sasco?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Last year, I think we were at 57. I did not pull
Okay.
that off.
So let's
So
just
far
use
this
last
year,
year's numbers. Let's just use last year's numbers. So we
Well, and I
have,
didn't pull that one off. I was gonna say what I've got today. So
Can I share what I had calculated?
Yes.
And if that's
sounds about
different,
right, yeah.
I had in 2024 receipts brought in. So the receipts
Mhm.
brought in $59,578.
That sounds right, yes.
That's what I had.
59,000 what?
$59,578.73 in receipts.
go
This
ahead.
is brought in.
Mhm.
I had recycling at $2,300.
Yes.
I've got REMC down here.
Okay, REMC is, I think that's for the lights out the Finley. It shouldn't be very much that, it's not, well, wait a minute, no, REMC, we get some sort of a rebate back. That one is, that's at the recycling part of the transfer station. There is like a 200 and,
It's
Was it
2,000, no, I'm sorry, it's $220.30. Does
Okay.
that sound right?
yeah, it's right around I was thinking 210, 230, somewhere along there.
You said that's a rebate?
It's
or-
some sort of rebate that we get every year from Clark REMC.
And I found it, we went
Because
over
we were
that and
looking
we've
at it.
seen it somewhere in here. So Randy, just the receipts and that rebate from electric and the recycling comes out to $62,090.03.
Okay,
Receipts, and that is just for receipts brought
Receipts
in.
only.
okay. And then on top of which we pay out to Campbell's,
Yeah,
do they go to Campbell's disposal?
I think
Or do
that's
they?
what we got in here. Campbell's Hauling, I think it
Okay.
is.
So if we pay out, total to him is 55.
Hang on just a minute. I think it's a little, just a hair more than that, I'm thinking. Because he gets paid,
$30,973.80. Does that sound right?
that will be for probably the trash, and then the recycle will be another. part of that.
$24,000.
Yes. So, okay, then that would be about how much was it? 29,000 and,
Well,
Yeah.
that would be $54,973.80 total.
yes,
Okay,
that'd be about right, yeah.
so easy math, let's say 55,000. So right now, and we're basically keeping the sticker program because, okay, let me stop and continue where I was going with this. So then the trash that is collected is taken to the transfer station. None of the money from the stickers, it's in a separate fund. So none of the money from the stickers
Not one penny goes to disposal fees.
goes to disposal fees. So we are paying for all that trash. And if you put it all into a thing, we might be recouping, if you put it all in one lump bucket, which we can't. But,
Yeah, I don't know.
but if you put it all in one lump bucket, we may be receiving around $4,000 something a year to pay for all the trash that we're taking in, which, guys, is not even close to.
So the
Okay,
transfer
let's
station,
talk, let's talk in real numbers here.
the transfer station is solely covering getting the trash out.
Yes.
And, okay.
Yeah.
And that's where the scales would cover down on that,
Well,
with the weight and everything possible.
So here's the other issue. In the past, before we got the scales, and why the scales became such a big issue, is if I am a person who has taken my trash to the transfer station, we have always adjusted those prices to try to recoup as much of that cost as possible.
Makes sense.
So now these people who are going to the transfer station with their trash is being charged a higher amount to help pay for the Sasco Bank program, which is not fair. And to my opinion, is not fair to the people who uses the transfer station. So whenever we go to the scales, there's no way we as a board can figure in how much trash the satellites are going to take in to adjust at the scale to charge people. Am I making sense what I'm trying to say? So, and on top of which, still, it's not fair for somebody else to pay more for disposal fees.
Well.
I mean,
we
that's
always
not
end
the
up
way
with
we're
the
setting this
deficit at
thing
the
up.
transfer station that the taxpayers pay through the general fund.
Yeah.
Because we'll have, and the papers that I gave you, the one that says the first four numbers is 4902, that's your Sasco numbers. The one that I gave you, the location budget and the combined ledger that starts with 1,000, that's your transfer station numbers. When we come up short, it comes out of the general fund, so at the transfer station. So even the people who aren't using that, the taxpayers are making up the difference.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, so that's where we're at. And for me, I'm not trying to say, okay, that the service of satellites need to stop. I'm saying that the county, we have a couple options. Either the county we get somebody out there to service those that we do not pay and let them charge what they need to make it a service. Or we purchase equipment and weigh the bags and do the same thing that we're doing at the scales.
You already bought, I'm sorry, the big scale for the vehicles, but you already bought.
A small scale for
Yeah.
bags,
Yeah.
individual bags. So
But it was only one, right?
I only one.
Okay.
And the reason behind that, just so
Yeah.
the big scale only weighs in 20,
Yeah.
you gotta be 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Before it starts weighing.
Has anyone reached out to IDEM, not to make a decision, but just to inquire about changing the permit if we can? Like, since we hold the permit, could we third-party contract or alter the permit to where we could sublet? Say like someone like Red Bulls or a contract or a company.
They are already permitted.
Well, no,
They wouldn't
since
need
it's in
our
our name, they can go on our permit.
No, we
I don't
can
think
keep
so. I would
it.
have Zach, we could
And I-
task Zach to do
I was
that.
gonna say, I think I asked Zach, and I think Zach wanted to be the person so that we don't have any more confusion with
Yeah.
IDM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to be the person. I don't know if he's reached out.
We can allow them,
Because that's what I think.
to
it's one
piggyback
big
with us,
thing.
but they have their own permit. So, I mean, it would almost be like
'Cause I think that's
the best way to
right now.
describe it, it would be, and I'm just doing this for anybody who's watching this.
Yeah.
Is if you had a violation, it would almost be like an insurance
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And that way it's off the liability of the county.
Yeah.
Since.
So,
Well, that's what I think, some of the things we need to look at will be the permits for that area, insurance for that area, because they're in different. Finley Firehouse, that's a private, that's the firehouses.
Mhm.
The township has or Lexington Township, that's their township that owns that. And this out here at Stacy's is really on the state.
And
That's a good point.
we have
These
to have
contracts,
our
we don't have any contracts.
Yeah.
So they would have to enter in,
There's something there.
They have to-
then
Yeah.
who owns the property would have to enter into a contract.
Yeah.
Unless we decided that we would be responsible for the sites. Yes,
Again,
I
I
know.
think if you're doing that.
Right,
you
no,
should
I'm
be
just,
driving
I'm
it.
just
Yeah,
trying to
okay.
answer.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think some of that, we're gonna have to go back to an attorney.
I'm throwing all
Say,
that,
what can we do here and there? Yeah.
I'm just throwing options out there. I'm not trying to say that's what I agree with. I'm not trying to say, let's do that. I'm just saying,
I think
I'm trying to think of all the options here. That's
Exactly.
what this is about.
I think our biggest hurdle right now would be, what are we limited by with IDAM? If we get some options with IDAM, how can we move forward? How can we get a game plan from there?
IDM wants these places closed.
Yeah,
That's where IDM is. They have made our life miserable.
I almost wish we, what was his name? Chad or whatever it is, have him here tonight so that way he could have been the expert, give us opinions.
yeah, and I don't even think that's good because he gives a little bit of conflicting information
Yes,
from
he
what I
does.
heard on the call. with IDM.
Oh, that's.
So,
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Some of what he gives out is his opinion instead of,
um,
which is fine. I'm not picking on Chad either. It's just,
Right, I'm just saying that there's, as you know, on the call,
Yeah.
it just seemed like that, some of the direction he was given wasn't popular with his supervisor, so.
Yep.
So,
if we, and go ahead.
I
I think
just,
I'm interrupting you.
no, I just wanna, so people can understand what we're basing some of this stuff on. And and anybody that wants to see it, they can come in and
Oh my
ask
gosh,
for it.
yeah,
We can,
yeah.
I mean, we can give anybody this stuff. But when you just look back at 24, what month, was it early in 24? Did we capture that $1.50 increase all of 24? It was
No.
late, right? Or a few months in.
Yeah, it was a few months in. It might have been as late as June, maybe. I'm not
So-
certain.
Keep in mind, yeah,
Was
we
that
didn't
last year?
operate all of under 24 under that $1.50 sticker increase. Or we increased it from 75 cents to the $1.50. So that, we didn't have a full year of capturing that cost. But 24 overall, just to give an idea on just the transfer station. When you look at the transfer station, again, we brought in $62,099, okay?
Now you're talking about the transfer station or the Saxville?
I'm talking about transfer station.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, we paid out, and when I talk about paying out, it's things like payroll,
Mhm.
IDEM, annual fees,
Disposal fee.
disposal fees, which was $137,000.
Mhm.
We had we look at, printing receipts, that cost us $310. We look at utilities, which was nearly $5,000. Overall equipment was just a little over $2,700. So, when we take all of those things into consideration, we actually paid out there, $175,516.
Wow.
So, that's what was just, and I'm just talking about transfer station costs. When we look at, now, so let's look at Sasco. Now we're talking about satellite stations in Sasco. So the sticker program, and again, we didn't capture the whole year because the increase to $1.50 happened very early in the year. But with that,
I thought that was 2023.
You sure?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, it could have been, that's okay. Regardless, even if we did have the $1.50 for the year, it's still gonna make sense at the end. So we took in with the sticker program, a little over $65,000. $65,070 is what the sticker program brought in 2024, okay? To maintain the sites, we spent $3,200 to maintain our 3 sites. When we started talking about what we are contracting with Todd, we spent $31,000 nearly for the extra haul to Jefferson County that we were talking about at Proving Ground, and then the other part of the recycle contract, $24,000. Okay, so we said pretty much $54,100 pretty much for that. We spent $1,300 for the stickers at JC Printing. JNC Printing.
Yes.
So when you add what we spent out in the sticker in that satellite station program, $59,479.74. When you take that and you subtract that to what the stickers brought in, the $65,000, $65,070. So when you subtract those, you come out to the good at nearly $5,600. That's that $5,600, and I am just slowly talking about the sticker program, the satellite program, and all that, and the contracts with Todd and everything. We come out to the good of $5,600 just on that program. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, if you look at what we spent out, what we brought in, and what we paid out for the transfer station, you can look at it that we were still in the hole $113,416.96 from at the transfer station. What was brought in, what was paid out. So that there's the hole that we're at there. When you take the good that we had, the nearly 5,600, you're still coming out. That offsets again 6,000 of it, but we're still, and this is what I came up with 2024. We're still in the hole $107,000, $826, $107,826.70 in the hole. So that's the number I came up with. That we have to try to figure out a way to supplement somehow. Again, it's $100,000 problem if you combined it all together. So,
but now they was putting in 180,000, right? The council.
That's what they budget. That's what goes on this location budget. If you look at it'll say 1,000, fund 1,000, location 9614. It's the one sheet. That is what, if you look here this year, the original appropriation was $177,800. That's what they put in there. You can see, of course, I mean, some of this has been transfers, and with the scales going in, we're down to 39% left in that account to pay the rest of the year. Well, we're not 60% through the year yet, but we're 60% through our expenditures, or our money that was budgeted.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just kind of a number that they give you. That's what they say. But I can promise you that our receipts from the landfill have not added up to that amount. We always end up in the negative. And that's why I printed off with you the combined ledger.
So somehow or another, we're going through 180,000 $177,800.
Yeah, because there's been times at that point, we've had to add a little more at the end of the year with that kind of budget. Where we are right now, if you look at the combined ledger, our receipts out there have been $33,380.85. We have some miscellaneous receipts, which is like the $2,300 for recycling. And then there's $4,275 that was listed under miscellaneous receipts. We might need to put in another line. I don't know, this comes from the city of Austin. That was our first, that will cover what was dumped in May. We got that check into June, 1st of July, so we got that.
Okay.
So that's our revenue. So with all of that, that makes us about 30, almost 40,000 we've taken in. And then you can see our expenditures, you know, the payroll. So far, we've expended $10,000, a little over 10,000 there. Of course, our annual fee is $400. Our permit is, we don't have our permit payable yet. And so far, disposal fees have been $83,498. So for the transfer station, if you go through and look at everything at the very back page, it's going to show you that we're in the hole right now for $67,865 for the year. So if you look, I mean, the very last one is going to show you everything. And you'll see in there with the appropriation, it says the $177,800. That goes back to the location budget that shows you what, and then the location budget here will kind of show you where you still are in your budget.
Oh, so we're not in the hole, $67,865. That's how
Yes.
much we
Yeah,
have
but-
left in the $177,800 that we started with.
That's the appropriation, but with what's been brought in, that's what you're in the hole.
Okay.
Which,
No, unexpended balance, 69,978.
Yeah, so
That's
the-
what's still left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
yes.
just the budget, yeah.
Right, that's what I asked. Yeah, okay.
It's 177.
so, I mean, yeah, it's running obviously a little higher. Keep in mind, over these last, few weeks, we've not had stickers either, right?
And people are buying them because of this uncertainty. We're having people come in and buy one sheet or
Right.
something like that.
I understand.
And I don't, the stores, nobody's sure what they're doing. So we're having private citizens come in now and get like a sheet instead of,
Which is why we need to make a decision.
I think we either need to say we're going to do this or this or this, because this being in limbo, it's not easy for the people. And like I
Which
said,
I've
stop buying.
honestly, just so you guys know, I've honestly went on the Facebook and told people that if they buy stickers, don't worry about it. We will honor the stickers
Right.
until they're depleted.
So, I mean,
Which I maybe I shouldn't have said without you guys, but I mean, I'm sure everybody, all of you guys would agree that we need to honor.
If they purchased it,
Yeah,
See it through.
I wouldn't want to stick anybody with something.
it's running, a little bit over average. I mean,
Well,
we're on
And our
track.
disposal costs will, because we've added Austin. That's a little higher. And some of this on your,
But it's also receipts in, receipts out too.
yes.
So it's,
Is that apples to apples of Austin or?
I
are they
don't
covering
know
their
that
fair
we
share?
know for
should
sure.
be pretty close.
Okay, that's just one.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be adding to it.
Well,
It's
No,
by
but
weight, right?
we're
So-
very fair.
To
Put
the-
it that way.
To the best we
We
can.
tried to figure that on 5 ton.
Yeah.
Which is what that thing should.
Yeah.
It should hold 20 yards.
Yeah, and they've been easy to work with. I mean, as far as that goes, they've not, again, and they always knew the scales were coming, which could alter, maybe some pricing down the road, but,
For me, I always wanted this whole trash program to only cost people exactly what it costs us.
To just become a pass through.
Yeah,
yeah, because, I mean,
I would love
there's a service
Break
element.
even pay for the salaries, benefits.
And that's the whole point behind the scales.
Yep.
That's the whole point about this
I don't want to do.
satellite program. I mean, and I'm not trying to be, guys, right now, we've got $18,000 worth of windows we need to replace, and we don't have the money to replace them in our courthouse.
Right.
So you gotta ask yourself a question. Do we give free trash or and let our courthouse fall apart?
It's true.
I'm not trying. It's just, it's math, you know?
Well, so here's the other thing. I mean, and we've had, obviously, Blevins, trash disposal's been in here talking. I still don't understand the plan on how they make that work. Because I don't want to get into something with a private entity
Yeah.
that sticks it to the citizens.
100%.
So I'm not clear on, they've met, well, I say I'm not clear. I don't think nobody's clear in here because they've never really laid it out on how that works.
Yeah.
It's kind of
No.
like, just give it to us and we'll fix it.
We'll
But
take it over.
I just don't, I have to have a little bit more assurance
100%.
than just to hand that over.
Well, I mean, and so here's another option. Like I said earlier, we can purchase our own dump trailer. And a truck, not a new truck, but a truck, or get a truck from Kevin, let Kevin purchase a new truck, whatever. You know, we figure that out. And we can get a set of mobile scales. So, and I'm gonna just off the top of my head say for $60,000-$70,000, and we can pay an employee
I don't know if we can.
to weigh that bags, and we'll just have one full-time employee. And on the satellite nights, he will go out and collect them, weigh them. And the rest of the time he can work at the transfer station. I'm just trying to,
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think, again, we sat here and say we can't pay for windows, and then we say, well, we're gonna hire an
Yeah.
employee. It's just like some of these other things. It's
Well,
like,
the
hey,
transfer
let's hire
station-
this person, let's hire that person.
The
Oh, well,
transfer
we can't-
station will
we
pay
can't
for
even-
the employee, because you can capture that cost and charge that into your scale price.
But that's premature though, we're doing that saying that we're hoping that will happen.
Yeah.
If we come back with data and say, oh, this is going to happen, we know this is gonna happen. I
Long,
mean, right now, we are paying a service though, and we're not paying any employees. We're paying a contractor pretty much to take care of that. And that's the beauty of that is that we don't have to pay employees to do it.
but we're paying more than that, because you don't know how much weight we are paying to get rid of from that.
Got a citizen chiming in, said 10 hours a week would be sufficient, possibly. Gentlemen watching from home.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
But also, we don't know what we don't know with what IDEM would even allow us to do, or what possibility with contracts we could even do, or how we could set up, how could we have oversight to protect citizens?
well, we know what we can do.
Yeah, yeah.
And so if we control it, then, we're in charge of it. And so that's the other side of this, is giving this up to somebody else who, not necessarily saying that they would, but maybe they don't adhere to the IDM rules. And then next thing you know, the
Well,
whole thing's shut down.
And you don't know what they're gonna wanna charge people to collect trash either.
That's right. I mean, I would almost feel better if we could run it somehow
Well,
and control it.
do you agree with that?
There's so many unknowns. I would love to have a stake in it, so that way we can protect citizens not being price gouged or taken advantage of.
Okay, and so what we're looking at is, we're looking at a way for us to put an employee out there to weigh the trash and bring it to the transfer station via dump trailer.
So what's the scales gonna cost us?
We're almost done with the scales.
No, I'm-
No, the
I'm-
mobile
The
scale.
smaller ones.
Oh, the small set scales? It depends on how we go, but 3,000 or less.
And do they have to be calibrated by?
And honestly, it can go almost down to $1,000.
Do they have to be calibrated by anyone, special IBM or any certifications or anything?
They have to achieve a,
Well, the manufacturer, if we buy them new, they'll set them up, right?
there's an acronym.
But if they-
But
they do
yes, we have to
portable, right?
buy scales that
Can be
is,
DOC or whatever.
verified by the weights and measures,
You could just,
that's our truck scales are.
Yeah.
would they be like on a trailer, you just take them from side to side, or
I'm sorry?
the scales, they'll be mobile where you just move them from side to side?
They have a lot of scales out, and then one of them that I looked at as a possibility is it's a hook, and you just hook something on, it's like a expensive fish scale.
Mhm.
You just hang it from the bag. Which that could honestly hang from, if you get a gooseneck trailer for a dump trailer, it can hang from the gooseneck. What's my thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Anything else? And that is battery operated too, by the way. So you don't have to worry about plugging it in
Power or anything.
and zeroing out the scale and doing all that stuff.
What about receipts at that point?
What about what?
Receipts, handwritten receipts, or could it print off? Like, I'm just thinking that way.
It won't, that particular scale won't. There
Just
is
trying to make
scales
sure
that out there.
Checks and balances.
Of course, they got stuff to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
It's just how much money you want to spend, right? How deep your pockets. But the transfer station for years have worked off of just handwritten receipts.
Yeah.
And I mean,
We can't expect somebody out there to keep writing receipts for $1.
no,
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think that, because they're,
Or whatever, you know.
I don't think receipts is an issue.
People are on income or whatnot, and they have to show their receipts for stuff, or.
I don't know
That's what I was
anybody can
thinking
get trash off on their,
Like if they're getting stuff from the trustees or whatnot, and they have to show their budget and stuff like that.
yeah.
That's why I'm saying.
But I mean, how are they doing that with their Sasco? I don't think trustees are paying for the trash,
I've never heard that, but maybe they are. I don't know.
But I think so that would be my other idea. If you guys got another idea to be able to keep it. I just know that right now that the transfer station is paying a lot for the sticker program's trash, and that the people out at the transfer station who is trying to recycle and use it is taking the brunt of that cost, and the taxpayers are taking the rest of it.
I agree. Michelle, you got anything since you're here for the workshop?
On the trash. I know everybody carps about the stickers, but my opinion, if people can buy other things, they can afford the trash, right? Like.
How else are they creating the
I say
trash?
You break even. Why would you?
That's what we're trying to do.
That's my opinion. And that, I know I'll be the one to probably take the brunt of that, but I mean, you gotta get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like you said, it ends up on the roads and ditches and,
It does now.
Yeah.
Quite
which is
frankly.
sad.
Yeah.
Um,
Lover's Lane, pick it up all the time.
So,
Well, I mean, if you, no matter what you do, if you have somebody that has that type of mentality, that's what they're gonna do,
Yeah, which is sad.
If we got rid of it free, you'd have people dumping it just because they don't want to drive to where your free drop off is.
They would dump it at Lexington even if the truck wasn't there.
Yeah.
Until Troy put up cameras.
and that's the problem. That's what we've dealt with. And that's why we had to install cameras. We've tried some incremental improvements and changes along the way, but, nobody, and, you can put up signage and they don't pay any attention to that either.
Have we tried trespassing people? If we're not, we put cameras up there.
We do, but we've not tried to prosecute or go after anybody.
Because they know where the cameras are. That's the problem. They know where the cameras are, so they don't show their face.
We're spending enough money.
Then you get into the thing, well, I let somebody borrow my truck. You can't prove that it was me driving my truck. Car, moped, whatever.
And then what about raising the sticker prices? $1.50 has been, what, $1.50 for a while? I hate to raise anything,
No,
but
it's not been that way for a
for
while.
a year?
A little over a year.
I guess
I'm
you
sure.
were saying at least, now we're thinking at least a year. So
Yeah.
I misspoke and had 23.
Just throwing out random stuff there.
But yeah, I mean, that's another option too, is raising the stickers.
Well, I
But
wouldn't
I-
want that, but yeah.
It still won't, and I'm saying, I kind of agree where you're going. People, they'll still pay that. If we was to go
They
from
will.
$1.50 to $2 on stickers, they'll still pay it. They won't like it, and I don't like it, but
Yeah.
folks are still going to pay the $2. Many folks will to have the service. The problem with that is that helps. But if you're talking about,
It
we
doesn't
still
fix
don't get out of $100,000+ hole.
Right.
And that's what we're in. And so that helps, but it doesn't solve the problem,
Now, with the scale, it does give us one, advantage now, is we could figure in the cost of we now have solid numbers that once it's up in operation, we have solid numbers. And we can as long as we know what we're putting in that, the cost of your compactors,
Yeah.
the cost of everything it takes to run,
Yeah.
we can put in for the cost of a dump trailer and a truck. I still wouldn't buy a new truck because you're only talking a couple of trips a week. I mean, in my opinion, we'd be better off to take one of Kevin's used 3/4 tons and purchase a new truck for Kevin.
Yeah.
But whatever, I don't care. But you can figure that into the cost easily on that,
Yeah.
where it could make its own money.
Yeah, what I can do tonight, everything we talked about, I can go out and put like an outline of all the options and then email it out to everyone. And then we talk about, and then ask Zach to reach out to IDEM and see about permits or adjusting, so whatever. There's a lot of what ifs.
Well, I mean, I personally would like us we can't vote
No,
on this tonight, but I would like us to know exactly where we're gonna go with this, because we have a lot of balls in the air, boys.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this, and I know you were there, and this happened right before me coming in, but you had a public meeting about this, and there was a lot of folks there,
I did not look at that night.
and so they're very much in favor.
Of keeping
The
this.
folks there that night support the trash program.
Oh, yeah.
So
There's a lot of people that goes out there.
There's a lot of people go out there and there's a lot of people use these.
I mean, it was the council who
Yeah.
was wanting to shut it down, and I was trying to keep it open, and I thought they was trying to pick out which tree they was gonna hang me from.
So at the end of the day, though, we still have, it looks like this year we're going to be running about $120,000+ deficit. So, what I suggest, for next steps is figure out, if you would, you've got an idea on these scales, reach out and get some prices, see what that looks like. And not only that, we also need to figure out how we're going to take that money in out there and show what we've done every day.
Well, when you,
I want to see that more in official capacity than just, not to say I don't trust anybody, but we have to be
No.
able to show it on
I
paper.
thought of that.
Show
So
them.
you're gonna take in, the operator will be taking in cash for the collection of the trash, and they have to drive across that scale going in. So we're gonna know
I'm
exactly
talking-
where,
Yes.
we'll know how much money should be
Yeah.
received.
Yeah, I see where you're getting, but I'm just talking about up front, before that ever gets to the scales at the
How-
transfer station.
How do we come up with the money to buy the,
Just how the whole process would actually work. I mean,
Justified means.
yeah,
Showing
I
that
mean,
we're-
what?
Justified, like showing the public that the scales are working, that everything's falling in line, and just being transparent with how the cost analysis and everything's going, showing that we're out of the red.
yeah, and I want to make it user friendly, not only for the folks that are driving out there, but for whoever that we have
I do too.
that are working out there.
I do too. I'll be honest with you. I want this whole program to be operated by people who are
Hi.
retired. To give our people that's just my.
Yeah.
I would like to see a position in the county for people who are retired, who could operate something and always have something,
Yeah, because that population that you're talking about, they would pay $250 a sticker before they would drive clear across the county.
Yeah.
And throw it back out. I know they would. I hear it all the time. So, and I understand that, especially, the fuel and the traffic or getting out there and back is one thing, but, inclement weather and those kind of things, that plays into it too. So,
well, let me just say, I don't really want to raise the sticker price. And for me, and here's the reason why I don't. So if you have a Sasco bag and you pay $1.50 for that sticker, that bag has to weigh, the way we're set up right now, what our costs are to get rid of it, that bag has to weigh 30 pounds before you achieve that $1.50 amount. Then you have somebody who goes out there, and I've got pictures on my phone. I think I don't think I showed it, but the guy had parquet flooring stuck in a bag, and he was getting rid of them at $1.50 a bag. I promise you, each bag weighed about 140 pounds.
yeah, I
And
guess
so-
there's gonna be cases like that.
Yeah, so in order for us to keep this, I don't like to charge, somebody, and this is not an age race joke or whatever, but somebody who is 60, 70 years old has not got a 140-pound trash bag they're coming out there and throwing in. So I don't want to charge $2.50 to this person who's only got 5 to 6 pounds, 8 pounds, whatever, to cover for the person who's taking advantage.
Yeah, not everybody's gonna play by the rules.
Yeah. And that's why I'm big on the scale thing.
I'm just gonna put this out there. I don't even know at the end of the day. We pursue that for the next year to see how the scales work. I don't even know at the end of the day, though, that I think the program overall, no matter how you do it, is still going to be a deficit in some form or fashion for the county. And I personally, as long as that deficit is a little bit more, manageable, I'm okay with offering that service for the county. I mean, you'll hear it all the time, hey, we pay all these taxes, and which they do. And what do we get for it? So, if we can find something else to offset that, I'm fine with that. I just don't know, even at the end of the day, no matter what we do, you know, we're doing scales at each satellite site. We're doing all these other processes that we're changing with it. I'm not convinced that we're still going to probably come out even, or, you know, I think we're still going to have some type of a deficit tied here.
So you're wanting to keep the satellite program.
Here's what I'm saying. You mentioned the scales. I'm open-minded to that. Let's get some pricing on some scales and let's get an idea of moving forward, how that's going to work. And go from there to find, you know, and make another attempt to keep those locations open.
I'm fine with that, as long as I just think we're gonna have to weigh them, the bags. That's the only fair way I know to do it, to
But
anybody.
we talk about a pickup truck. I mean, with a trailer or some sort to haul the trash back.
Yeah, you're talking, even used, you're talking
Yeah.
40,000 dollars.
Yeah.
Which, again, though, you just add to the cost of the overall program. Because now you've gotten rid of the satellite program and it's a whole transfer station thing. It's all in one picture. You're not two different counts you're looking at.
Well, you're taking the stickers out of it, but
You're keeping the
We're still-
satellite program, but it's part of the transfer station.
instead of the stickers, we're bringing
Yes.
them into the scales.
Yes.
Scale money. now
Right.
Instead of sticker money, so. And we're not paying out, it's minimal, but we're not buying stickers. And what we're spending in contract money, you know, would probably be a year's fee getting equipment set up. So, you know, and whatever, you know, part-time, or, you know, or if we had even another county employee that wanted to make some extra money or something, but we can talk about that again as well. But I think it's a step in the right direction to maybe go and try and look at what these
Keep
scales
it
cost,
in-house.
and
I'm for that.
let's look at it. My goal here is to try to kind of make every effort to keep the satellite stations open.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I
that's my
just,
goal.
I just wanted us to, it's always been for me, not just necessarily to close the satellites, but we gotta make it work. You know, we can't afford to pay for everybody's trash.
And yes,
And it's
I know
not fair
you're,
to a lot of citizens.
yeah, and I know you're and I get it. What you're saying, you're just talking reality.
Yeah.
I mean, and I get that. And quite frankly, if you just, you know, killed the program and said, hey, take it out there, you know, from a taxpayer standpoint, we're going to get back to, probably even numbers, you know, to a zero balance. And I know that's what and I appreciate that. I mean, I know what you're going for. I'm trying to figure out, hey, can we make some improvements off of that potential 25 number of $120,000+ in the hole? You know, how can we improve that moving forward? I don't know if like I say, I'm going to be optimistic and hope we have some improvement, but I'm not going to be surprised if we not back in here next year saying it's not working. I hope I'm wrong.
Well,
And then
the scales
to
will
your
show,
point, will be,
if we don't make changes, the scales are going to show exactly how much we're paying to get rid of the trash and satellites.
and that's something we've never had, right? So we've never been able to base any real real trash numbers.
Real data
Right.
points.
No,
I
no,
mean,
if you're
it's-
looking at bulk, it's trying to charge for that bulk, but in reality, all right, so one guy comes in with a big truckload of feathers, he could, and this is extreme, but he's getting charged, this $150. Then you get a guy comes in with a truckload of drywall, $150. That's
Because
not-
job sites coming in, Ecotech, they're coming in, they're pulling the container out, and that's what we're getting charged for. As you guys can tell, the costs very similar and don't fluctuate very much on the containers coming in now. So, and with that, when we talk about equipment and things, the other problem we've had is that we've had faulty equipment. That's why we, through ARPA funds, we replaced one compactor. Those compactors were put in the '80s, early '80s.
Yes.
The life of those compactors are over. And so we had to replace one. Well, both of them were replaced put in at the same time, installed back in the '80s. One goes out, guess what? Now the other one's out, right? So, we purchased one through ARPA. We're working on, which we have a commitment. I know you brought up John Morgan actually is helping us purchase a new compactor.
Yes.
So that's $60,000+. So we'll have, my point is here, and thank you, John, for your help. And so what I'm getting at here is we will also, talking about not only the scales capturing that, we'll be able to get our bang for the buck too with having two new compactors, compressing everything down. And instead of, we may get another day out of, and maybe even have to change our schedule where you may not see all of these containers going out as much. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm optimistic we can save some money in the long run by having new equipment also. So
Well, and to make things harder, and what you're saying, Ecotech, and I've talked with him, and he hasn't changed nothing yet, but they charge us, a fuel surcharge by weight, which is just strange to me.
So where do they lay it when they get it back?
They weigh it at their place.
Okay.
But everybody else seems like they do a fuel surcharge, flat fee. It's gonna be $100, it's gonna be $50,
But see,
but they charge by weight.
but we can't, there's no way for
That's-
us to compare anything because,
That's what's going on.
Yeah.
So if I guess is where I was going with that. So if we take our compactor and we compact that trash and that now our help me out here, what our trash bin,
Okay,
the
I want to say compactor,
yeah,
that's not
I-
it, it's a trailer.
yeah, so if it gets to be, 9 ton, which I've seen some of the bills that they have, they're 9 ton, and some of them are 6 ton.
Exactly.
So, and in order for me to come up with back when I was trying to figure out these scales, I think I looked up 6 months and did it all by weight and then broke it down into the cost and then divided that up but I had to do it over a 6-month period. There's no way to pick one bill.
and
That's aggravating.
That's it, yeah.
You should be able to look at a bill and know exactly how much everything costs you. But,
We're at the 6.
and Ecotech's good to work with. I'm not trying to throw Ecotech under the bus. I'm just saying it's not as simple as it should be.
but I'm going to, again, if anybody wants to look,
We have these,
Jennifer's got these for anybody to look at. I mean, and if anybody's got a good idea out there, feel free, reach out, let folks know. We'll we'll certainly,
Can I ask
consider
a
every
question?
idea. Sure.
So, does the government give incentives for recycling? Like, if you recycle as a county and where's that go? Like, do they?
I'm gonna
I
say,
know they used to give like,
I'm gonna
what,
say
70
no.
cents a bottle or, right?
I'm gonna say no.
Mr. Shirley,
All right, so how-
Travis' dad's been asking a lot about that. lately.
Yeah,
How-
because when I lived in Iowa, I think they had a great trash system, and I've run this by Adam before, is when you moved there and registered, you got 3 bins. Of course, you wouldn't have, I mean, I don't know how that would all work, and this would be a future maybe plan, right? You got 3 bins, and it was for paper, metal, and plastic. No joke, I had 1 bag of trash a week when I lived there. 1 bag, that's all I averaged, because it was amazing to me, because I'd never recycled everything I could put in there. I mean, I had no trash.
Yes.
And what they did was one day they come and got trash bags, and one day they just did recycling. They just picked up recycling for the truck. They used the same truck. And, I just wonder if they were doing that, was there there had to be some incentive, I'm sure, for.
Well, we'll certainly check into that.
Sure.
And
It makes you feel good to recycle.
but I don't know I don't think there's any accountability with that. I think if there is some incentive, they just throw it out there. Since you've been in here, I don't know if we've ever gotten anything or anything like that.
No, but here's how we're set up.
Okay,
So have you been out to the transfer station?
I think so. What they consider the dump, I get stuff.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, so do you know there's that store
yeah.
that has free clothes in it and
Yeah,
all
okay,
that
on
stuff?
the side,
Okay,
yes.
all of our recyclables
Uh-huh.
is received by Seard, a Southern Indiana Recycle District. Seard takes off our recyclables and they get money off that
Yeah.
from the recyclables.
That's so.
But they pay for, the lady who works at that store. They give us, $4,000 a year, toward our employee who operates the compactors. And they provide a skid steer, to handle and move all the equipment. So that's how we're being reimbursed from.
And
To help
I think Adam
cover off
on
the
that
cost.
board, the Seared board, you
Yeah,
might,
it meets every,
I know it's not often,
it's
but
on a commissioner night.
you might.
And so I
reach
email her
out
once a month.
She
and
did tell
see,
me that, go ahead.
What kind of incentives are, but any of those incentives are probably going to that group.
They are.
So it wouldn't
Mhm.
come in
But I just
here.
wonder if we did that and got community on board with that, I wonder how much money you could really, like, what would be the money difference in that?
I will look into it.
Is it, it might not even be worth it.
I don't
But
know.
for future, I keep thinking down the road, like, it's better to get on the recycling.
And I'm not saying,
Like recycling,
I'm gonna say it doesn't happen by no means here. But there is probably, I've seen in other communities where recycling, I mean, you think it's been recycled, but it's not,
it's not.
right? I mean, yeah.
No,
So
they flake it, throw it away.
that's why I'm quick to say, I don't know
Yeah.
at the end of the day. 'Cause it's hard to capture all this stuff. We're talking about trash here.
Yeah.
And now recyclables just adds another
Yeah,
element
oh
to it.
yeah, that's why I
But-
didn't want to overwhelm you.
but
was
I know-
thinking way in the future, like,
Well,
if we went in that
It's a
direction.
good question because, and I'm sure the other group that we're contracted with, they probably do get incentives like that.
Mhm.
So,
And probably more as time goes on, like
but it,
with environmental stuff, I'm sure as time goes on, they'll